First contact redux. Dr. Maya Reeves stared at her computer screen, unable to process what she was seeing. The signal pattern remained steady, pulsing with mathematical precision that couldn't be natural. After 15 years at the Global Deep Space Listening Array in Chile, she knew the difference between cosmic background noise and something deliberately transmitted. This was definitely the latter. Run the authentication protocol again, she ordered her assistant, Dr. Kai Chen, who was already furiously typing commands. Third verification complete, Kai replied, his voice barely a whisper. It's real, Maya. We're picking up an artificial signal approaching from the Kuiper belt, and it's decelerating. Maya reached for her phone with trembling fingers and dialed the emergency number she'd memorized but never expected to use. This is Dr. Reeves at GDSLA. Implementing First Contact Protocol. I repeat, implementing First Contact Protocol. This is not a drill. Within hours, observatories worldwide confirmed her findings. Something massive was approaching Earth from deep space, broadcasting a signal clearly intended to be recognized as artificial. The object's calculated trajectory would place it in Earth orbit within 3 days. General Elena Vasquez surveyed the hastily assembled Joint Space Command Center beneath Cheyenne Mountain. Representatives from every major space-capable nation hunched over monitors, arguing in multiple languages, while military personnel maintained a disciplined silence around the perimeter. What do we know? Vasquez asked, cutting through the chatter. Dr. Reeves stood, dark circles under her eyes, evidence of 3 sleepless nights. The object has maintained its deceleration curve precisely as projected. It will achieve stable Earth orbit in approximately 6 hours. Size estimate: approximately 1.4 kilometers in length, 300 meters in diameter. Weapons? The general asked. Unknown, replied the Chinese military attaché. Our scans detect energy signatures unlike anything in our databases, but nothing we can definitively identify as weaponry. And the message? Vasquez pressed. Maya cleared her throat. It began broadcasting in multiple Earth languages 4 hours ago. The same message, repeated. We have returned to recover the Haroon outpost. Request diplomatic channel. The room fell silent. Returned. Secretary General Okafor of the United Nations asked. They'd been here before. Apparently, Maya replied, though we have no historical record of any extraterrestrial contact. Unless it predates our recorded history, said Dr. Abeshin Kosi, the renowned archaeologist who'd been flown in from Nairobi overnight. If they're referring to a period tens of thousands of years ago, we wouldn't have documentation. General Vasquez's expression remained stoic. We need to establish communication and determine their intentions. Dr. Reeves, you're our best xenolinguist. You'll lead the first contact team. Maya's heart raced. She'd spent her career preparing for this theoretical moment, but the reality was overwhelming. We should respond on the same frequencies they're using, with the simplest mathematical acknowledgement possible. Numbers are universal. Do it, the Secretary General said, and prepare a visual communication system. If they've studied us enough to broadcast in our languages, they may be ready for face-to-face interaction. The alien vessel settled into geosynchronous orbit above the Pacific Ocean precisely 6 hours later. Earth's military forces had been placed on high alert, though world leaders had agreed not to deploy offensive systems unless provoked, a decision that several generals had protested vigorously. When the vessel transmitted its first visual message, screens around the world displayed the same image. A being with a humanoid form, but distinctly alien. Its skin shimmered with a faint golden bioluminescence. Its eyes, 3 of them, were arranged in a triangular pattern above what appeared to be a respirating membrane rather than a nose. When it spoke, the membrane fluttered. I am Ambassador Talon of the Viridian Collective. We come in peace to recover what our ancestors left behind. Its voice was melodic, with perfect pronunciation despite an otherworldly timbre. Our records indicate a research outpost was established on your world approximately 30,000 of your years ago. during an exploratory mission. Contact was lost. We have come to recover our technology and any surviving data. The revelation sent shockwaves through human society. Religious institutions scrambled to incorporate this new information into their theologies. Scientists debated the implications for human evolutionary history. Social media exploded with theories, fears, and excitement. Within 24 hours, a delegation was assembled to meet with the aliens, now officially called Viridians, at a neutral location, a hastily constructed floating platform in international waters in the mid-Pacific. Maya found herself aboard a military transport alongside diplomats, scientists, and security personnel. The meeting facility was a marvel of rapid engineering, a transparent dome allowing both species to observe each other while maintaining any necessary environmental controls. As the human delegation entered, 5 Viridians stood waiting. Their height, nearly 7 feet tall, made them imposing despite their slender builds. Ambassador Talon stepped forward. "Thank you for agreeing to this dialogue. We understand our arrival has been disruptive." "That's putting it mildly," muttered General Vasquez under her breath. Secretary General Okafor took the lead. "We are curious about your previous presence on Earth. Our historical records contain no mention of extraterrestrial contact. Your species was in its early developmental stages," Talon explained. "Pre-agricultural, nomadic hunter-gatherers. Our protocols forbade direct interference with your evolution. Then why establish an outpost here at all?" Maya asked, speaking for the first time. "Earth was selected as an observation post for this sector due to its biodiversity and stable orbit," replied a second Viridian, introduced as Science Director Zev. "A research team of 20 was stationed here to monitor developmental patterns across your planet's ecosystems. Their mission was extended when they discovered your species showing early signs of advanced cognitive development." Dr. Nkosi leaned forward. "Where exactly was this outpost located?" "In what you now call Antarctica, beneath what has become an ice shelf," Science Director Zev replied. "The location was chosen for its isolation from early human populations, which were concentrated in warmer regions." "And what happened to the outpost?" asked Maya. Ambassador Talon's 3 eyes blinked in sequence, a gesture Maya couldn't interpret. "A solar event of unexpected magnitude damaged our long-range communication systems. The team was expected to maintain position until contact could be reestablished. We underestimated the time this would require." 30,000 years is quite an underestimation," General Vasquez said, voicing what everyone was thinking. "Our civilization experienced a period of significant disruption shortly after losing contact with Earth," the ambassador continued. "Only in recent millennia have we rebuilt our deep space capabilities and begun the process of locating lost outposts." "How many other outposts do you have on inhabited worlds?" the general pressed. "That information is not relevant to our current discussion," Talon replied smoothly. "We seek only to recover what belongs to our people and depart without disruption." Science Director Zev activated a holographic display showing Antarctica. "Our scans indicate the outpost remains largely intact, buried approximately 2 kilometers beneath the ice. The area appears to be uninhabited at present." Secretary General Okafor nodded. "We can arrange access for a recovery operation, provided our scientists may observe and document the process." "Acceptable," Talon said. "There is one other matter, however." The hologram shifted to display various locations scattered across Earth, each marked with a pulsing symbol. "Our scans have detected Viridian technology in multiple locations across your planet. Some components appear to have been integrated into your own technological infrastructure." The room grew tense. "Are you suggesting we stole your technology?" General Vasquez asked, her voice sharp. "No," Ambassador Talon replied calmly. "We believe these artifacts were deliberately distributed by our research team before contact was lost. However, the presence of quantum resonance patterns matching our technology in your computer systems energy grids, and medical equipment suggests you have reverse-engineered these artifacts, perhaps without understanding their origins. Maya's mind raced. Throughout human history, stories abounded of mysterious inspirations, dreams that led to scientific breakthroughs, ancient artifacts with unexplainable properties, mathematical insights that seemed to come from nowhere. The silicon microchip, she whispered, then spoke louder. The quantum computing breakthrough of 2021. Are you saying these came from your artifacts? Science Director Zev inclined his head. Not directly. Your species made these discoveries through your own ingenuity. However, the foundational principles were likely inspired by exposure to our technology. This is unexpected. Most species require millions of years to develop such technologies independently. The third Viridian, who had not yet spoken, stepped forward. I am Security Commander Mira. The technology in question was never intended for adoption by a pre-spacefaring civilization. This creates complications. What kind of complications? General Vasquez asked, standing straighter. The artifacts contain quantum-entangled components linked to our central networks, Commander Mira explained. As your systems have integrated derivatives of our technology, you have inadvertently created pathways between our systems. This presents security concerns for both our civilizations. The implication hung in the air. Earth's most critical systems might be vulnerable through connections no one knew existed. Equally concerning, humans had apparently reverse-engineered alien technology so effectively that the Viridians now viewed them as a potential security threat. We propose a joint team, Ambassador Talon said into the silence. Your experts working with ours to locate all the Viridian artifacts on Earth and safely disentangle your systems from ours. Secretary General Okafor looked troubled. We will need to consult with our respective governments. As the meeting concluded, Maya found herself walking alongside Science Director Zev toward the exit. May I ask a personal question? She said. You may, Zev replied. Your people watched mine when we were still learning to control fire. Now you've returned to find us splitting atoms and creating artificial intelligence. Are you afraid of what we've become? Zev studied her with those three luminous eyes. Fear is not the correct emotion, Dr. Reeves. Concern, perhaps. Fascination. Certainly. A pause. In 30 millennia, your kind has accomplished what took most species, including ours, hundreds of thousands of years. We do not yet understand how this was possible. Maybe, Maya suggested, it's because we've always had to figure things out for ourselves. Until now, Zev added. Maya glanced back at the alien vessel hovering in the distance. The Viridians had returned only to find their observers had become something unexpected, something that might now be beyond their control. On the horizon, storm clouds gathered over the Pacific, as if nature itself sensed the uncertainty of this new era in human history. Ancient secrets. The howling Antarctic wind buffeted the transport vessel as it descended toward the ice shelf. Inside, Dr. Maya Reeves checked her thermal gear for the third time, a habit born from years of fieldwork in extreme environments. None of her previous expeditions, however, had prepared her for this. Nervous? Asked Dr. Kai Chen, securing his equipment beside her. Terrified, she admitted. We're about to enter an alien structure that's been buried under ice for 30,000 years. If that doesn't justify some healthy anxiety, I don't know what does. The joint human Viridian expedition had been hastily assembled within 2 weeks of first contact. The international team included top scientists from every relevant field: archaeology, linguistics, physics, biology, computer science, and anthropology. They were accompanied by a military contingent from 5 nations and 7 Viridian specialists. Science Director Zev approached as the vessel settled onto the landing pad. The preliminary scans are complete. The outpost's structural integrity remains at 87% despite the immense pressure from the ice sheet. Quite remarkable. How do we access it? Asked Dr. Eliza Okafor, the Secretary General's daughter, and a renowned glaciologist. "We have initiated a controlled melt sequence," Zev replied. "Nanotechnology injected into the ice will create a stable tunnel system down to the outpost level without compromising the surrounding glacial structure." General Vasquez frowned. "You didn't mention deploying nanotechnology on Earth." "An oversight," Ambassador Talon interjected smoothly. "The nanites are programmed to deconstruct after completing their task. They pose no threat to your ecosystem." The general didn't look convinced, but she nodded curtly. "Let's proceed." 6 hours later, Maya stood at the entrance to a perfectly cylindrical tunnel boring straight down through the ice, its walls smooth and glistening. Viridian lighting systems cast an ethereal blue glow throughout the passage. "The nanites have reached the outpost's outer seal," announced Talon. "We may begin our descent." The journey down the 2-kilometer tunnel took nearly 40 minutes via a series of hovering platforms controlled by Viridian technology. As they descended, Maya felt the weight of history pressing in around her. 30,000 years of ice, layer upon layer, recording Earth's climate history, while an alien outpost lay hidden beneath. The ice cores at this depth could revolutionize our understanding of prehistoric climate patterns, Dr. Okafor commented, running specialized sensors along the tunnel walls. "Each layer is like a page in Earth's history book." "Your metaphor is apt," said Zev, who stood nearby. "We selected this location partly because the stable ice formation would preserve a climate record. Our own researchers were conducting similar studies before contact was lost." The platform came to a halt before an enormous circular door embedded in the ice. Its surface was inscribed with flowing symbols that pulsed with soft light when Talon approached. "The primary access seal," explained the ambassador. "It recognizes Viridian biosignatures." "It's still active after all this time?" General Vasquez asked incredulously. "Our power systems utilize what you might call zero-point energy," Security Commander Mira explained. "A small amount can sustain basic functions for tens of thousands of your years." The door began to rotate, segments retracting into the surrounding frame. Beyond lay darkness, until lights automatically activated, responding to the Viridian's presence. The chamber revealed itself, a vast, dome-shaped space containing multiple levels of laboratories, living quarters, and equipment unlike anything Maya had ever seen. "Welcome to Haroon Outpost," Talon announced, "the most remote research station of the Viridian 4th Exploration Wave." Dr. Nkosi stepped forward in awe. "It's perfectly preserved. The cold has helped maintain structural integrity," Zev noted, though many systems appear to have failed centuries after the outpost was abandoned. The team spread out cautiously. Human scientists were paired with Viridian counterparts, documenting everything with specialized equipment. Maya found herself drawn to what appeared to be a central command console, where holographic displays flickered to life as Zev approached. "The main database remains intact," the science director announced. "Beginning data retrieval protocols." Information streamed across the displays, Viridian script shifting and flowing. Maya's translation algorithm, developed with Zev's assistance over the past 2 weeks, began converting the text to English. "It's a log entry," she said, reading the translated text, "from someone named Chief Researcher Nelloren." Zev's eyes widened slightly. Nelloren was the mission commander. This must be from the final operational period. The holographic display suddenly resolved into a 3-dimensional image of a Viridian, noticeably older than the ones present, with fading luminescence in their skin. "Final log entry, Earth Observation Cycle 2183, the recording began. "Our attempts to repair the long-range communications array have failed. Power reserves continue to diminish. Without contact from the homeworld, we must assume the worst, that the cascade has spread beyond our sector. The team has voted unanimously to initiate emergency protocols and enter long-term stasis until rescue arrives." Maya glanced at Talon, whose 3 eyes had dimmed slightly. "What is the cascade?" "A quantum instability event that affected our civilization approximately 29,000 of your years ago," the ambassador replied softly. It nearly destroyed our species. Many outposts were lost when the interstellar network collapsed. The recording continued. Before stasis, we must address the subject-species question. The primates designated human have shown unprecedented cognitive development during our observation period. Their tool use, symbolic communication, and social structures are evolving at rates that defy our predictive models. Standard protocol would require termination of all observation and removal of any technology that might influence their development path. Maya felt her blood run cold at the casual mention of potentially terminating human observation. However, the recording continued. I cannot ignore the potential we have witnessed. These beings may represent an evolutionary divergence worthy of preservation. Against protocol, I have ordered minimal observation equipment to remain active during our stasis, powered by independent energy cells. A schematic appeared, showing small devices scattered across ancient human migration routes. Furthermore, Nellerin continued, I have authorized research specialist Velen to proceed with the Prometheus initiative. At this, all 3 Viridians present stiffened visibly. What's the Prometheus initiative? General Vasquez demanded. Before any Viridian could answer, the recording provided the explanation. Selected technological components, with all identifying markers and weapons potential removed, will be left at calculated points of future human expansion. These artifacts contain base principles only, requiring independent discovery to activate. This seeding violates our non-interference directives, but I believe it serves the greater principle of knowledge preservation. Should our civilization not survive the cascade, perhaps some echo of our understanding will live on through these remarkable beings. The recording ended, leaving a heavy silence in its wake. Security Commander Mira turned to Talon, speaking rapidly in their native language. The conversation grew heated until Zev intervened. What's happening? Maya asked, sensing the tension. Ambassador Talon faced the human delegation. The Prometheus initiative was a theoretical concept, never authorized for implementation. It involved accelerating the technological development of promising species through controlled exposure to advanced concepts. It was deemed too unpredictable and potentially dangerous to ever be implemented. Except it was implemented, Dr. Nkosi said. Here, with us. Which explains humanity's accelerated development, added Dr. Chen. We had help, breadcrumbs of knowledge left deliberately in our path. General Vasquez's expression hardened. So our entire civilization was an experiment. Not an experiment, Zev corrected. A preservation effort. Nellerin believed your species had unique potential and sought to nurture it in case the Viridian civilization fell. Did it? Maya asked. Fall, I mean. Nearly, Talon acknowledged. The cascade destroyed 70% of our worlds. It took us 15,000 years to rebuild interstellar travel capabilities, and only in the last century have we begun recovering lost outposts. Dr. Okafor had been scanning data on another console. According to these logs, the stasis pods failed approximately 25,000 years ago. The team didn't survive. A somber mood settled over the Viridians. Commander Mira performed a gesture that Maya interpreted as a sign of respect for the dead. We must locate their remains and return them to the homeworld, Zev said quietly. While the Viridians focused on that task, Maya and Dr. Chen investigated another section of the outpost. They discovered what appeared to be an observation center, with detailed records of early human development. Look at this, Chen said excitedly, pointing to holographic reconstructions of early human settlements. They were watching our ancestors in Africa, Asia, Europe, everywhere humanity spread. They documented it. Not just documented, Maya realized, studying the data more carefully. They were running predictive models on human development. She pointed to a series of diverging timelines. Look, they projected multiple possible evolutionary paths for humanity. Chen zoomed in on one projection. This one's marked as most probable without intervention, showing human technology developing at a much slower rate. According to this, without the Prometheus artifacts, We wouldn't have reached our current level of technology until the year 15,000 CE. And this one, Maya said, indicating another timeline labeled Optimal Prometheus Implementation, predicted we'd achieve space travel by the late 20th century. She felt a chill, which we did. Dr. Reeves called Dr. Nkosi from across the chamber. You need to see this immediately. Maya hurried over to find Nkosi standing before a sealed door that had just been opened by the Viridian team. Beyond lay a laboratory containing what appeared to be preserved biological specimens, including what were unmistakably early human remains. They weren't just observing, Nkosi said gravely. They were collecting samples, possibly experimenting. General Vasquez pushed forward, surveying the laboratory with growing anger. Ambassador, she said sharply to Talon, you claimed your people were merely observing humanity, not interfering. These are standard xenobiological samples, Zev explained quickly. We collect specimens of all species and environments we study. These aren't specimens, Dr. Okafor retorted, examining the preservation units. These were our ancestors. As tension mounted between the groups, Maya noticed a separate console activating in response to Zev's proximity. A new hologram appeared, this one showing a molecular structure that looked eerily familiar to her. That's human DNA, she said, moving closer. But it's been modified. Zev examined the display, his three eyes widening slightly. This is unexpected. It appears Nellerin's team was conducting genetic comparative analysis between Viridian and human DNA. Why would they do that? Chen asked. Before Zev could answer, Security Commander Mira stepped forward and deactivated the console. These are research matters beyond the scope of our recovery mission, she stated firmly. We should focus on retrieving our technology and our fallen comrades. Maya caught Talon and Zev exchanging a glance that she couldn't interpret. Something important had been discovered, something the Viridians didn't want to discuss. As the team continued their exploration, Maya pulled Dr. Nkosi aside. Did you notice how quickly they shut down that genetic research console? Nkosi nodded. They're hiding something. The question is, what could be so significant about comparing human and Viridian DNA? Maybe we're more alike than they've admitted, Maya suggested. Or maybe. Her thought was interrupted by a shout from one of the military personnel. In a previously unopened section of the outpost, they'd discovered a massive chamber filled with technology that looked disturbingly familiar. These components, General Vasquez said, holding up what appeared to be a crystalline circuit board. They're nearly identical to the quantum processing units developed by Quantum Core Industries 5 years ago. Ambassador Talon approached slowly. As we suspected, the Prometheus artifacts have influenced your technological development more than we anticipated. This isn't influence, the general replied coldly. These are the same designs, which means either your ancestors directly gave us this technology, or someone else did. Maya finished. Someone who knew exactly what these artifacts were and how to use them. The implication hung heavily in the air. If the outpost team had died in stasis 25,000 years ago, who had distributed the Viridian technology throughout human history, and more importantly, why? As Science Director Zev examined the chamber's contents, his scanner began emitting a high-pitched alert. Ambassador, he called urgently. I'm detecting an active quantum signature. Impossible. Commander Mira responded. All systems should be dormant. Not dormant, Zev replied, his voice tense. Hidden. There's an encrypted subspace transmitter in this chamber, and it's been sending data for at least 15,000 years. The human and Viridian teams exchanged alarmed glances. Whatever secrets the outpost held, they were clearly more complex and potentially more dangerous than anyone had imagined. Outside, 2 kilometers above them, the Antarctic sun set below the horizon, plunging the ice shelf into 6 months of darkness. Similarly, the revelations from the ancient outposts were casting long shadows over humanity's understanding of its own history. and its future relationship with the returned Viridians. The hidden legacy, an active transmitter. For 15,000 years, General Vasquez's voice echoed through the ancient chamber. Who has it been transmitting to? Science Director Zev's 3 fingers danced across the alien console, triangular eyes focused intently on the scrolling data. Unknown. The signal is directed toward coordinates that don't correspond to any Viridian outpost or colony in our records. Maya watched as Ambassador Talon and Security Commander Mira conversed in rapid, hushed tones. Their body language suggested disagreement, perhaps even alarm. Whatever this discovery meant, it clearly hadn't been part of their mission briefing. "Can you trace the signal?" Dr. Chen asked. "Tracing is unnecessary," Zev replied. "The coordinates are fixed. The transmission is directed toward a star system approximately 40 light-years from Earth. We call it Cell Mira. In your astronomical catalogs, it would be." He paused, consulting a comparison chart. HD 40,307. Dr. Eliza Okafor pulled up the reference on her tablet. 6-planet system, potentially habitable zone. We've had it under observation for possible Earth-like conditions. "Is there a Viridian colony there?" Maya asked. Ambassador Talon's skin luminescence dimmed slightly. An emotional response Maya had learned indicated concern or discomfort. "No. Cell Mira was never colonized by our people. It was designated for potential future exploration, but the cascade disrupted those plans." "Then who's receiving these transmissions?" General Vasquez demanded. Commander Mira stepped forward. "This equipment requires immediate security containment. Please clear the chamber while we—" "No," the general interrupted. "This installation is on Earth. Whatever secrets it holds affect humanity directly. We agreed to joint access to all discoveries." Tension crackled between the military leaders until Ambassador Talon intervened. "Commander, the general is correct. Our agreement stands." To Zev, he added, "Continue your analysis, but share all findings with our human colleagues." For the next several hours, the joint team worked to decrypt the mysterious transmissions. The Viridians provided computing technology far beyond Earth's capabilities, but the encryption proved challenging even for their advanced systems. "Whoever designed this protocol was brilliant," Dr. Chen murmured, watching algorithmic attempts fail one after another. "It's adaptive, changing its pattern to resist decryption." Maya had been studying the transmitter's physical components when a pattern caught her eye. "These engravings are different from the other Viridian technology." Dr. Nkosi examined them through a portable microscope. "You're right. The styling is distinct, more angular, less flowing. Almost as if designed by someone else," Maya finished. Science Director Zev approached, examining their finding. "Most perceptive, Dr. Reeves. These markings are not consistent with standard Viridian engineering." "Then who built this device?" she asked. Before Zev could answer, a chime sounded from the main console. "Decryption successful," announced the Viridian Eye Assistant. "Message contents accessible." The chamber's holographic projector activated, displaying streams of data so dense that Maya's translation algorithm struggled to process it. What eventually resolved were not words but images, detailed anatomical comparisons between Viridians and early humans. "What is this?" General Vasquez asked, stepping closer. Ambassador Talon's luminescence had diminished to almost nothing, a sign of extreme distress. This was not authorized research. The display shifted to show genetic sequences, with specific segments highlighted and compared side by side. Even with her limited knowledge of genetics, Maya could see striking similarities between the highlighted portions. They were studying genetic compatibility, Dr. Okafor realized aloud. "Between humans and Viridians." "Impossible," Commander Mira stated. "Our biochemistries are entirely different. Our base genetic structure uses different amino acid combinations." "Different but compatible," Science Director Zev said quietly, studying the data. Nelloran's team appears to have discovered that despite our distinct evolutionary paths, our species share certain fundamental genetic markers, remarkably similar for organisms that evolved on different planets. Too similar to be coincidental? Maya asked, voicing the thought that hung in the air. The holographic display shifted again, now showing a recording. A Viridian, not Nelloran, but another researcher, spoke directly to the camera. Supplemental Research Log, Earth Cycle 2177. My official findings have been submitted to Chief Researcher Nelloran, but this record is my own. The genetic similarities between Viridians and these humans cannot be explained by parallel evolution. The mathematical improbability exceeds all reasonable thresholds. The researcher displayed molecular models rotating in 3 dimensions. My analysis suggests deliberate engineering, not recent, but ancient. The base genetic structure of both our species appears to have been derived from a common template, modified for our respective planetary environments. Maya felt her world tilting on its axis. They're suggesting both our species were created? By whom? The recording continued. I have designated this unknown progenitor species the architects. Their technological capabilities would have far exceeded our own. The implications are profound. We are not the first advanced civilization in this galaxy, and humanity is not merely another subject species. They are, in essence, our cousins. Commander Mira moved to shut down the recording, but Ambassador Talon raised a hand to stop her. Let it finish, he ordered quietly. I've encoded these findings with a quantum encryption protocol of my own design. The researcher continued. If our civilization survives the cascade, this data may eventually reach those with the authority to investigate further. If not, the Viridian looked directly at the camera. Perhaps our cousins will someday develop the capability to understand this message themselves. The recording ended, leaving a stunned silence in its wake. That's why the outpost team implemented the Prometheus initiative, Maya realized. They weren't just preserving knowledge. They were accelerating our development specifically. This researcher, did they survive? Dr. Nkosi asked. Science Director Zev checked the outpost records. According to the stasis pod logs, research specialist Velen died when life support failed, approximately 24,500 years ago. General Vasquez turned to Ambassador Talon. Did your people know about this? Is this why you really came back to Earth? Talon's luminescence gradually returned to normal intensity. No, General. This information is as surprising to us as it is to you. Our mission was exactly as stated, to recover our lost technology and the remains of our people. But these findings would have reached your civilization eventually, Maya pointed out. The transmission has been broadcasting for 15,000 years. The signal was directed to coordinates that no longer house a Viridian presence, Talon explained, and the encryption would have prevented casual interception. Convenient, the general muttered. Commander Mira stepped forward. This unauthorized research violates numerous Viridian protocols regarding speculative xenobiology. It would have been dismissed.